Late to my own stream. As per the usual, I had technical difficulties, so I do apologize. But today I'm going to be reaching into my Cabin in the Woods journal and discussing horror trope of final girls. Now, we've seen final girls for a long time, particularly in slasher films. Let me pull up my notes. You can't really talk about stuff without looking at notes, right? So, originally, the term final girl was coined in 1992 by Carol J. Glover in her book Men, Women, and Chainsaws. And the trope is repeated within horror in several instances, but it particularly gets its start in the slasher genre, in which a girl, well, almost always a girl, survives the horror show of the film. Now, there are several discussions about final girls and their traits, but also the subversion or the intentional adversion of the trope. And there's even stuff like Final Guys. Ash from Army of Darkness, of course. Final Guy. The Evil Dead series. What I want to discuss today, though, is why are final girls a thing? Why did they come up, and why do they share so many traits that it eventually formed a trope? Yes, my hair is wet. I'm sorry. I'm looking. Ooh, I might turn down some of the lighting in here too. I don't have my natural sunlight today because it's rainy outside. I do have a ring light though. Woo. Okay, that's a little better. Now, the traits that we see most often in final girls that help form the trope are virginal, submissive, innocent, and conservative types. They're notably conservative toward drugs and wild, rampant sex. Now, they've had further development in recent years to be sort of a feministic trope. We see in The Witch, she is final girl through her own sexual empowerment and development. Buffy is a feministic final girl in the sense that she's badass and kicks tail and defends herself. But the final girl trope with the conservative and the virginal is really what I want to dive deeper into today. It's most notable. Sorry, computer. It's most notably that they have all these traits and they're the ones that survive. Now, the argument could be made that they survive by their own moral superiority, but I think they survive by their likability. I think when writers and directors made the film, they made girls that they liked, that they wanted to see live, be it through liking them out of respect for their moral superiority, or liking them through their rationality, or liking them through their sexuality. When was the last time you saw an ugly final girl? That's personally why I believe they survive. I've heard the privilege via moral superiority argument a ton within the final girl analysis, but I don't think that holds true. I think it has always been about what the writer perceives as likable through their own lens, which is also kind of where we come to this is kind of a harsh topic, but we also come to the inherent racism within the final girl thing. You don't see black final girls. You don't. But it's white directors in the 70s that really set all this up. The only time you really even start seeing black final girls is not until, let's see. I'm trying to remember the character's name. Adelaide in Us. Now, there's actually very, very interestingly a chart that I found on Vox.com when they did a article about final girls for a Halloween special. They hold up, I'm gonna add it in the chat right now. It is one of the most thorough infographics I've ever seen about it's back from 2015 October. Yes, I don't have it copy pasted on this computer. I'm sorry. I have two computers, and one is in the living room, and that's my primary one that I work with. But the link's not hard to try. There you go. And it breaks down everything about final girls, from appearance to attitude towards hair color. Hair color is great on the chart. And hold up, I'm gonna pull it up right now. I might do a screen share for it. Hold on. Here it is. Let me put it in my chat now. It won't let me. Bugger. Maybe it'll let me do screen share. Now, looking at the chart, it talks about them having sex in the movie and the prevalence of them being brunette. Let's see. Laurie switches hair color in Halloween, but she is most notably blonde. Here we go. Let me get back to the studio. Here we go. But it is a great chart if you can get it to pull up, which for some reason it didn't there, even though I'm pretty certain I got everything right. If you have some time to look at that, it's from 2015. I really love it. It does a comprehensive breakdown. Now, going back to Laurie, speaking of her in Halloween, she is what everybody thinks of as the final girl, the quintessential final girl. She has made a career off of being the final girl. Jamie Lee Curtis has. I actually watched her in Terror Train the other day. It's been a whole career that she's done with this. Now, the first true final girl that we see, I would argue, is Jess Bradford from Black Christmas. Has all of it going for her. The privilege. She's the only one that survives. I mean, she is entirely a final girl before there was even a term for it. Now, Vox's article makes the counter argument that Sally, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, of course, but it's the same year that Black Christmas came out. They want to put Lila from Psycho as a final girl, but Now, this is another hot take, but Vox's article also talks about a unisex name. I don't understand why that is a section on the trope. I have a theory in that they don't want... My personal theory is that they don't... See, no. Hold on, let me adjust my yoga ball. I thought about her, but again, Jess Bradford was Black Christmas that year. Trying to remember which technically got released first. I mean, poor Sally went through some shit too. Anyway, now this is kind of a hot take. I think that the unisex names popping up with the final girl trope is because they don't want that too feminine thing. A lot of times in these films, it's the feminine wild girl that has tons of sex and is popular with all the boys. They're the ones that die. I thoroughly believe, want to have her not be too feminine, be too girly. A lot of them almost even have like tomboy-esque traits. Laurie Strode had short hair there for a good bit. But I think at the end of all of this, final girls come up from, as my conclusion, final girls come up as what the writers think is likable, be that through their own lens or be that trying to find someone that's relatable to the audience. I think it's a balance of all these different things that come into play. Any big thoughts out there? Does anybody think I'm wrong? I know me making the argument that the unisex name not wanting her to be inherently hyper feminine is kind of a thing, and also talking about the racism within that final girl trope. It's curious that Adelaide is one of the... She is a notable black final girl, but she is also a subversion because she's also the bad guy. Spoilers for us. Any big thoughts? Now, there's another trope I want to hit on within the whole final girl thing, which I think is neat. Kill the cutie is very curious to me as a trope, to where we torture the sweet innocent within the horror genre. I think that comes out as a subversion, of final girl. Any big thoughts? Let me know what you think in the comments. I talk fast, so I realize a lot of my videos aren't going to be long. I'm wondering if I should just dive in deeper on some of my personal favorite final girls. I did talk about how it was going to tie into one of my favorite films. I mean, in hindsight, I think I've already touched up on this film though, but I love Cabin in the Woods and the final girl thing in that film with her, what was her name? Dana being the absolute stereotypical final girl and how all of that plays a role. Oh man, I banged out a whole bunch of hot takes, and Child Clown Outlet is like, I have no counter arguments. I'm kind of surprised, honestly. Considering a lot of horror fans I have found don't like doing deeper analysis into what makes some of these tropes, what makes some of this, what makes some of this come up, you know? I think we have to look and see why. I think anything quality deserves analysis, and I thoroughly think all horror is good horror. Therefore, all horror deserves analysis. Even if we do say things like, hey, I think maybe final girls have unisex names because we don't want them to be hyper feminine because people are threatened by hyper femininity. That is a conversation that is quick to get you a harsh look in a lot of horror fans' eyes. Horror is, I will say horror can be feminist. Not all horror is very feminist, but horror can be. I'm sorry, my yoga ball chair. I'm trying to get adjusted on it. It is kind of feministic in the sense that a lot of these final girls do survive on their own merits and intelligence and thought process. I think we see it get more feministic in more recent years, given, like I said, The Witch, Buffy. Let me see. Oh my gosh, there's a lot. Some final girls being even allowed to have sex in modern years. Now, that is always nice to see. I know, but you shouldn't have women's morality inherently tied to whether or not they have sex or not. But that is something, like I said, that we've seen in more recent films. I'm trying to remember. She has sex in Scream, doesn't she? Let's see. Yes, Sydney has sex in Scream. Jay has sex in It Follows. Well, It Follows is kind of themed around that, though. But yeah, I think anything worth looking at. Oh no. What is your opinion now? My hair is still wet. Oh, it is what it is. I'm sorry, I got my coffee, okay? I found something on Instagram the other day to where I was like, it made me more angry than it probably should have, but it did bother me. The discussion was about whether or not elevated horror had a place within the horror genre, or if it was bringing the genre down as a whole. One of my all-time favorites is Midsommar, and it's like, if you don't find Midsommar scary, then it's because you're not paying attention. Like, saying that Midsommar's elevated horror just because nobody's like directly being chased by Freddy or Jason is not. I was upset about it. Exactly. It's kind of like some of them were feministic because they survived by their own smarts, particularly Laurie. Laurie survived by being intelligent and persistent. But then again, not all of it is. Like I said, not all of it is feministic, which is, that's not inherently. Not everything has to inherently have like a super heroine like Laurie Strode to be considered, a good flick, but is it nice as a chick? I mean, kinda, but she lives. And she lives because of her own self. I think that's the thing we gotta take into account here. Laurie becomes particularly stronger as Halloween goes on, though, which is great in my opinion. By the way, I'm sorry for getting on stupid late. I had technical difficulties. I'm sorry. I tried to do 10 a.m. on the dot directly, but it doesn't always pan out like that. Ooh. Do I answer that question honestly, though? I am. I like her too. I like her. To answer the question, I am 29. I know. I'm gonna be 30 in a few months, and I'm desperately trying to get my friends to do my birthday party as an all-black funeral to my youth, but nobody is willing to sign up for that. I'm like, please, I just want to do everything all black. We can dig a hole in the backyard and bury it. It'll be fun. And nobody has balked the idea yet. I don't look my age, or at least that's what I've been told a bunch, but I also layer myself in SPF. SPF 50 the whole way around, baby. I'm gonna be 30. I don't have any kids. I have a dog, and that's the extent of my life. I'm a nurse. I love horror. Honestly, though, I'm not the biggest fan of gore. Like I said, all horror is good horror. All horror deserves critical analysis and thinking. But I'm not personally a gore fan because, reality is a whole hell of a lot worse. That's generally the questions I get most often asked if I do a stream. So I just go ahead and hit them all in one shot. I really do want the all black birthday party, but I don't know that it's gonna pan out. Especially not if COVID rears its head again or anything else. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a birthday at home. Why is my hair acting a fool? Oh well, it is what it is. I like modern Final Girls. I like the Final Girls of old. I particularly like. I love Jamie Lee Curtis in Terror Train. I don't remember her name though now. In the film, like the character's name. It's particularly fun that David Copperfield is in it. Alana. There it is. Alana. I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, she was alright. She was pretty good. I'm not the biggest fan of part 7 as a whole, though, you know? So maybe that's like... Yeah. I don't know. That's my only thing there. I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan of that as a whole, though. Well, I think this kind of wraps up all my Final Girl stuff. I'm in Twitch Studio, and I could see when I answered the question about my age, my viewer count went down. Oh. I'm a fucking lie next time. Alright. I'm gonna get up off of here. Next Sunday at 10, I imagine I'm gonna be probably playing some video games. I debated whether or not to just segue into Visage after this. I got stuff to do. I got chores. I'm still on call, unfortunately, which reminds me, I need to look at my phone. You know, I hope nobody is at the hospital needing me on an Easter Sunday, but you never know. If you'd like this content... Oh, my viewer count went up. Hi! If you like discussing horror, I do every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time a horror discussion, or I play video games. I think I am going to start making it every single Sunday, and if I get called, particularly if it's something to do with video games, I just get called. You know, that means a stream might only be 15 minutes if I get called in, but you know, I figure it'd be better to do every Sunday versus having to skip even with call. But I'm also on Instagram at gone.questing. Oh, thank you. I had fun too. I'm on Instagram at gone.questing. I'm here, Gone Questing 25, like I said, every Sunday. Is probably going to start being the new norm. And be like and follow. I normally upload this to my YouTube, which I've been severely slacking on because it's kind of hard having the time to edit. I'm sorry. It's just the way things go. I'm hopeful that I can get it on there. I also have a ton of home projects to do though, so I might do that on one of my streams too. But anyway, this was a good one. I had fun. I love talking about Final Girls and of course horror particularly. That's why I do this. But bye everybody. I'm gonna get up off of here.